game 2 of our triple header of pre-season friendlies here on Channel M, and this week we come from the Grattan Stadium, where for the second week in a row the Wigan Warriors are on testimonial duty, as a Wigan native celebrates his decade of success on this typical Yorkshire afternoon. Paul Deacon's 10 years at Odsal has seen him win many trophies and is the club's all-time record point scorer, and the Bradford faithful will get to show their appreciation for him this afternoon. There are 3 debutants in the Bradford Bulls backline, with Paul Sykes, Chris Nero and Semi Tadjalala making their debuts. Paul Deacon, the testimonial man, shares a half-back partnership with Iestyn Harris. In the forwards, Simon Finnegan is the only debutant in the second row. He plays alongside David Solomona, who will again be looking for a big year. Terry Newton, at the centre of much transfer speculation last week, starts at hooker. On the Bradford bench, Oldham man Richard Johnson starts as a substitute. Ben Jeffries will be looking to get on at half-back at some point, as will Wayne Godwin against his former club. For Wigan, they have their only debutant starting in the centre. George Carmont has arrived from Australia and goes straight into the starting 13 this week. In the forwards, it's more or less the same side as last week, with Sean O'Loughlin switching from centre to loose forward. On the bench, Sam Tompkins drops out, but Sam Ray and Nicky Stanton maintain their substitute places, and all will be looking to have a game here at Odsal this afternoon. So all the festivities and dignitaries are over. It is time to get the game on, and Wigan, for the second week in a row, will kick the game off in the shape of Pat Richards. Paul Deacon's testimonial is underway, and Michael Platt feels the first kick and offloads immediately to Big Joe Vanger. Now with me is Stuart Wilkinson, ex of Wigan. Welcome to the programme, Stuart.
Thanks very much, Chris. It's looking an exciting start. Great kick-off from Pat, and they actually caught the Bradford inside the 10 metres.
So they did. A very good start indeed by Wigan, and Bradford in their brand new home shirt for the 2008 season, as Wigan are in their brand new away strip for 2008. It's certainly lucrative business with clubs these days to have a new kit for the new season. It certainly gives the fans something to get their teeth into, as that is a very poor kick. I think that was Terry Newton who's put that kick straight out on the full, and we will come back to the halfway line for a scrum down to Wigan. Well, after that decent start from Bradford, Terry Newton's put them on the back foot with that kick. I
think the kicking strategies today are going to be very, very important to both teams, Chris, because of the conditions and stuff. It's about being at the right end of the field, so it was a good idea, but just poorly executed.
Stuart, of course, Wigan's former youth team manager, very heavily involved, weren't you, in the setup of the Wigan Youth Academy, and plenty of young starlets on show for both sides today.
Yeah, I think it's great that Sean Ainscore's got a start. It's probably quite a significant thing for him, and there's many others on the bench, and Wigan has a tradition of producing great talent, and that'll continue.
I'm sure many more youth products will get their go this year. Barrett, I'm sure every one of them will love playing with him. That's Phil Bailey. It's a very big hit.
Fantastic
Chris Nero.
offload.
Great offload from Phil Bailey. He's going to flourish in that second row for mine. He's going to be one of the players to watch this year. I think he will find the switch from centre to second row more suitable to his style, as Palliasina looked to offload. He had Coley there in support. Lovely quick play the ball. Hyam, nice little kick, but very well fielded by Paul Sykes, and Bradford have got away with that one for the time being.
Yeah, interesting though that both hookers taking on the kicking duties, just in case at the moment it's that both been quite poorly executed, but at the same time they've turned possession over the right end of the field.
And Bradford now looking to bring the ball away. It's a better pass from Newton, bringing in Andy Lynch, who however had a very good 2007, did Andy Lynch. He broke his leg towards the end of last season. Solomona gets the ball out the back. I think Bradford have managed to jump on that for the time being. Deacon will put the kick in.
Very good defensive set from Wigan, that, containing him inside the 20-metre line with kick pressure. It's virtually give Wigan 6 goals. Unlucky for Sean there.
Being very unlucky for Ainscoe there on the first return. The defensive set was very good, but unfortunately Sean Ainscoe has failed to make it tell. What a hit that was from Luluwai. What a shot that was from the Wigan scrum half. He did a similar thing last week at Warrington. He really saw that early and has blasted the Bradford player. I'm not quite sure. I think it was Simon Finnegan who he's hit, and Finnegan's coughed up possession. Yeah,
Tommy's getting it's a bit of a trait in Tommy's game. He's timing them perfect. Just as they catch the ball, he's getting his shoulder, really into the rib cage and forcing errors. It's a good thing that it's happened as well.
Certainly adds to his game. Came in for a lot of unfair stick, I thought, last year, Thomas Luluwai. He's a promising talent, still only young, still only 22, I do believe. And there he goes from the base of the scrum, taking on the Bradford defence. And Mickey Hyam, much made of him this last week. Palliasina gets over the 40 and gets the offload into Carmont. First touch in Wigan colours for Carmont.
The refreshing thing in as well, Chris, is that people are up there in support. So, Feka Pallasina is getting his arms free, but everything's a quality offload at the moment because of the support play.
There was plenty of handling errors last week from Wigan. It looks as though they've been eradicated from their game this week so far. Even though Sean Ainscough has coughed up one ball, it looks as though they've got stickier fingers this week, because the ball's certainly sticking to the hands. Harrison Hansen gets to the 10. Hyam brings in Coley. Luluwai, Barrett, good link this from Wigan. Richards in the line, wonderful defence. Terrific defence that from Bradford. Rushing out the line was Chris Nero.
They just need to stay composed here, Wigan. They've had 3 sets in the Bradford half, and they just need to make sure they finish this off just as equally as good as they have done the last 2.
Palliasina goes for the post, and Wigan menacingly towards that Bradford line. Hyam himself, that's good defence from Andy Lynch out of marker position. And O'Loughlin it is, I think, or is it Coley? I think it was Coley, gives it to Barrett, puts the high kick in the air. Plenty of Wigan chasers, 2 posts struggling. It's Paul Sykes who's come up with possession, and Wigan forcing back over the line. Terrific defence.
Absolutely, there's some great chase on there. And probably difficult for Trent to get a kick in because he was under some pressure, but they managed to jump, compete for the ball, and got the just reward, which is another set of 6.
Their 3rd set of 6 on the Bradford line that they will get, putting the pressure on early. And it's going to be Deacon who will drop out from under his own posts. Played around about 6 minutes of this game. Bradford 0, Wigan 0. And Hyam waiting for the play the ball from Coley, who went well at Warrington last week. Luluwai to Carmont. There's a glimpse of what George Carmont's capable of in Wigan colours. Down the left flank. Luluwai. Coley.
Andy Coley's seen quite a bit of ball early on. He's getting a lot of first up carries and supporting a lot and getting quick play the balls in the conditions.
Hyam is running a lot from acting half back, and the opening try has gone to Harrison Hansen. Wonderfully quick play the ball. Hyam, brilliant from hooker. He's another man that's been in the headlines this week, and he's laid it on a plate for Harrison Hansen to score the first try of the afternoon.
You're absolutely right, Chris. Andy Coley's play the ball, left both markers on the floor. That's exactly the invitation that Mickey Hyam needs. Harrison Hansen read the play well. He pushed up in support, and it was a walking try basically.
And very well executed indeed. A wonderful line run by Hansen. Richards, who was 3 from 3 last week, and he starts in terrific form this week.
This is a significant set for Bradford. They've had no possession, and they need to contain Wigan in their own end. They need to do exactly the same, keep them under pressure, work hard from marker, and get some kick pressure on them.
The try scorer Harrison Hansen, you know plenty about him. He was on your England Academy tour that won in Australia and New Zealand for the first time in 30 odd years.
Yeah, it's a strange one really for H. He's obviously appeared for England Academy, and now he's a New Zealand international, and this year he's played for, I think it was Samoa. So. It's a good thing, and the kid's only about 22 at the moment as well, and he's played some good football for Wigan.
He certainly is. He's going to represent Samoa in the World Cup, having helped them qualify at the expense of Lebanon and, of course, Wales, who won't be appearing in the tournament in 2008. And he started off pre-season very, very well. He had a decent game at Warrington last week, and he has started off with a try here at Odsal. And Andy Coley, with the first possession, will run the ball back near to the 20. Ainscough will do some running. What can you tell us about Sean Ainscough? You know plenty about him, don't you?
That's right. He's come from the Wigan club St Jude's and progressed remarkably, really, to be in a starting lineup for Wigan and plausibly could start the Super League there. But he won't be out of his depth, Sean. He's certainly good enough. He's got the enthusiasm and he's tough enough as well. If he gets in the clear, you know, it's probably a guaranteed try because he is very, very quick.
Coley, like you said, Stuart, seeing plenty of the ball early on. He did the very same at Warrington last week. He got the ball in hand very early as Luluai puts a kick to the corner. It's come off the knees of Tupou. Ainscough racing to get the ball, but Tupou has managed to dive on it. And again, Bradford looking a little uneasy early on.
Well, that's right. I mean, they've lost possession again from some good defence.
And Coley is the man that's picked it up. I'd love to see the amount of carries that Andy Coley has racked up so far. I bet it's round about the double figure mark. Palliasina with a run up, look for the offload.
And that's exactly what Andy Coley can do. He's took a lot of pressure off Feka Pallasina for those runs, those offloads and things like that. He's certainly taking some pressure off him with the amount of work he's going through.
Starting at prop today, it will be interesting to see where he starts the Super League season, if at all, whether he'll be on the bench or whether he'll gain a starting berth. He can play second rower as well, and he's one of the fastest prop forwards, if not the fastest, in the Super League. Barrett, there's holes for him to exploit. Just takes the tackle in the end.
Possibly the Bailey pass could have been on for him there. Bailey was in some space, but sometimes, you know, if you don't have the right control of the ball.
There's a kick from Sean O'Loughlin. Again, Tupou under pressure, and again Ainscough stands up to him with a substantial size difference, but Ainscough stood up to him well.
Well, the kick was crucial as well. It actually turned Tupou round, so he's rendered him ineffective really. So size doesn't matter when you're running backwards. But again, this must be the third dropout for Wigan, and the kicking game and the chase is full of enthusiasm. They've got a lot of confidence here, Wigan, and they're playing really well.
10 minutes gone at Odsal. Wigan lead the Paul Deacon testimonial by 6 points to 0. And Pat Richards will give Palliasina a run. That is not the sight you want to be looking at when you're a defensive player and Palliasina has room to run. The last thing that you would want to see is an 18-stone Kiwi running at 100 miles an hour. This is Phil Bailey who gets Wigan to the 20, and again Bradford are going to be under pressure. There will be some supporters in the ground already that will have neck ache because the majority of the football is being played down at this end. That's a shocking pass from Barrett. That's one of the worst passes I've seen him make in his Wigan career, and again Bradford are off the hook.
Yeah, it's that stage of the year where things can't be executed as technically as exactly what you want them to, but the decision was good. There was personnel in the space, just poorly executed, and that's a trait of pre-season friendlies.
I think we saw after last week that they're not friendlies, they're more trial games, as I think that's the first touch for Sam Burgess, man who was featured in Nuts magazine as being one of the 12 superstars, young superstars to watch out for in 2008. There's another poor bit of execution, but Tadjilala looked to pick it up. He's gone without the ball, and Barrett eventually dives on it for Wigan.
Certainly made up for his mistake early on with that pass, and again, you know, it's looking like if they can hold the ball, Wigan's going to get another set in the Bradford end.
It was Liam Colburn that picked the ball up from acting half, and he's got Wigan to halfway. Harrison Hansen. Carmont goes into acting half-back and goes for a little run himself. Any Wigan supporter will be interested to see how he goes in Super League. Probably wasn't one of the names that was mentioned in pre-season as Barrett puts the kick in, looking for those notorious corners here at Odsal. Tadjilala with work to do, and he's done it very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, if you look now, Bradford, there's nobody behind the ball at all yet. I mean, just getting some numbers back now, and that's the ascendancy we're going to capitalise on. They're really controlling them first three tackles.
This Wigan tackling is ferocious as well. They're really getting into their men here this afternoon so far. And it was David Solomona who took that latest hit up. This is Sam Burgess.
This looks like another good defensive set for Wigan if they can keep control, apart from Terry gets away from marker there. And
the penalty goes to Bradford for, I think it was Sean O'Loughlin being offside. It could even be Andy Coley, and it is Andy Coley. Marker's not square. I think I'm right in saying that's the first penalty of the afternoon.
And probably Bradford's first goal with the ball in Wigan's end.
And Deacon it is that puts the kick to touch. It's also pre-season for our officials. It's pre-season for us. Everybody taking the opportunity to get their match fitness ahead of the upcoming Super League campaign.
Bradford need to be smart about what they do here. They're probably very, very keen to make a difference, but they just need to remain composed and get another set, try and get themselves back into the game because they've had no possession.
Sam Burgess getting involved very early on. He's just took the latest hit up. But Wigan defence standing stern. They've not given Bradford an inch so far. Deacon puts the kick to the corner. Pat Richards covering under a great deal of pressure from Platt, and he has managed to keep out of his own in goal and get Wigan the ball back. Great full-back play from Richards. And Carmont coming away from acting half-back. He's met by a barrage of Bradford players. And again, they try and force him back over his own line. Wigan under the cosh inside their own 10-metre area. Palliasina will no doubt relieve some of that pressure, but he doesn't get over the 10. Great pressure this by the Bulls. Hyam to Coley.
That's a significant play. Coley down the blind side, right onto Deacon and get a one-on win. You've probably seen Wigan now. They'll probably finish this set off and get a good kick in.
Palliasina now gets Wigan over that 20-metre line on the last tackle. And the kick will come in from Luluai under a lot of pressure from Deacon. And he's only just made it over halfway, and Tammy Tupou will bring the ball back over that halfway. And Bradford, if they can keep hold of the ball, are going to have a good set on Wigan's line here. Angled run coming in by Chris Nero. That's Terry Newton from acting halfback, goes for a bit of a scamper. I think he was looking for the longer pass there, but just run out of numbers. Well,
anybody into the next hole would have been ideal for Terry there. He's got a lovely short pass on him, but nobody showed up.
Deacon running across the face, brings in Jamie Langley, who was the England captain when you went on tour to Australia, having won that tour in 2004. The angle run by Burgess, stretches out and scores. Terrific try by the 18-year-old.
Some exquisite skill there, Chris. I mean, the line was superb. His nice early catch, but because of the grip on the ball and these bad conditions, he was able to reach out and place the ball over the line. Just probably an example of what Burgess is capable of doing once Bradford gets some possession.
Well, Nuts Magazine obviously knew what they were talking about. This kid's going to have a big year, and if it proves to be as big a 2008 for him than it did in 2007, this kid is going to have a blinding year.
Generally speaking, Chris, it's a territorial game nowadays. It's about having possession. You know, if you get the right end of the field, you've got a chance to score some tries. Wigan had 3 or 4 goals come up with a try. Bradford have had a couple of sets there. Even more so in these conditions, you need to at the right end of the field.
And Deacon does add the extras to make it 6 apiece. Interesting to see these hookers coming up with 1 or 2 errors, but they have been heavily involved early on.
Well, that's right. They're the focus point of the game. Everything comes through them. There's the crucial players to any team, and you're seeing the 2 of the very, very best in the country out here. Again, you know, the time of year and the conditions, it's a very, very difficult position to play.
But thankfully, after all the rain that we have had certainly on our side of the Pennines, it really has been belting it down these last few days. Many a football game in the northwest was called off yesterday. Games at Rochdale and Bury were postponed due to waterlogged pitches. Deacon with a kick to the corner looking for Tadjalala, who's got the ball. Tadjalala for the corner and scores. Brilliant try from Paul Deacon's kick. I'm sure it's a move we will see a lot from Bradford this year, and I'm sure Tadjalala will be on the end of a fair few tries for the Bulls this season.
Well, that's right. I mean, it was fantastic offload from Justin Harris in contact. It looked like the move had broke down. Deacon comes up with some great vision. He saw Semi Tadjalala out wide with nobody marking him. Managed to put the ball into space, and Semi chased the ball with lots of enthusiasm. And he had 1 player to beat, which was Pat Richards.
That's what his game's all about, Paul Deacon. The vision, the perfect execution from his kicking game. And like I said, there will be many, many tries scored out on these Bradford wings, as there has been in previous years. Leslie Vainicolo, the England international, now departed the scene obviously, and they've always scored tries here at Bradford if you've played on the wing, and I'm sure this year will be no different, as Deacon from the touchline lines up his 2nd shot at goal of the afternoon and slips on the surface, and I do not think he will want to see that again. I think he's just had a wry smile to the trainer as he walks back.
Yeah, I mean, Bradford have been starved of possession, and they've certainly proved when they get in the right end of the field they can actually do something with it. You know, whether it's a good kick or the lines from Burgess and stuff like that, they're definitely a threat when they get field position. I mean, Wigan's tactics have been, you know, quite significant. They need to keep that pressure on if they can by keeping Bradford at the right end of the field.
And for the majority, they have kept them at the right end of the field. It's been difficult for Bradford to get out of their own half, but having said that, what a kick-off that is. Came out the sky, and Michael Platt has ended up dropping the ball. I think he took it initially, but Phil Bailey, coming in with the hit right at the right angle, has managed to get the ball free from Platt's arms.
Pat Ritchie's kick-offs, they practice them endlessly, and even to the point of Wigan have recruited Rolly Williams, who's the kicking coach at London Wasps, who spends some time with Pat, and that's your results. They're worth a weight in gold.
They are. And there's going to be a penalty to Wigan after Carmont was held after he attempted a short ball, deflected up in the air, and I think it may have been Sam Burgess that was holding on to him as the attempted to go and grab the pass back. Well, Wigan, having just fallen behind, now have a chance to get themselves level, but Bradford's defence has been reasonable from the early stages. This is Sean O'Loughlin coming back on the angle, and we're going to smack bang in front of the Bradford post 5 metres out. Michael McLaurin has made his way onto the field. Short ball for Paul Prescott, who somehow can't get his way over the line. Tremendous tackle.
I think they scored last week off a similar play.
A very similar play. Luluwai, short kick, looking for Carmont. Has he managed to get the ball down? I think the referee has gone for a dropout under the post. I think Tupou has managed to get his hand on it, and Bradford again survive.
Well, for all the young viewers at home, if you watch the way Tommy Lulai disguised his kick, it looked like a pass. It looked like he was going to kick to the corner, but a lovely short kick, a great lie, and probably a great model for any young person watching the game.
He has a lot of tremendous attributes, does Thomas Luluwai, that is for sure. He's a tremendous ball player. We can see he can tackle, he can put a hit on. And again, you'd expect any New Zealander to be able to put in a real big tackle. Coley, good run back.
He's played a big chunk of the game, and generally most of his play the balls he's won.
That's what he's going to be in the side for. He's certainly got an engine on him as Andy Coley. That's a good angle run from Harrison Hansen.
Well, that's right. I mean, well, this time Bradford got the better of him and got him on his back.
That's Michael McLaurin giving Mickey Hyam a rest. He will play a big chunk of this season, I would imagine, Michael McLaurin. He will have a lot of game time under his belt. Will add to the maturity of this wonderful young prospect at hooker. Played very well in the academy last year.